We want to welcome you to another segment of Your Health and You, a look at health, healing, and restoration in preparation for the soon return of our God and King. And we are so delighted that you could join us for this lecture on this blessed morning. We want you to know that we teach from three perspectives. We believe in the Bible. The Bible is our rule of faith and practice. We believe in this word. And the Bible says in 1 Corinthians 10 and verse 31, whether therefore you eat or drink or whatsoever you do, do all to the glory of God. We believe that in good science, we believe in science that supports the Bible. Ladies and gentlemen, you have seen what false science can do. Lives are lost, millions are dying. But we believe in true science, science that supports the Bible. And so we extend and we educate and we empower and we present the research to God's children. And we believe also in inspiration. This is inspired writing that supports the Bible and also supports good science. And I want you to know that every true science finds its genesis in God. And so this morning, as we continue in our lecture on healing herbs, healing naturally with herbs, we have been talking about the dandelion, and I know most of you are familiar with the dandelion. Last time, that's where we kind of left off. And I just wanted to reiterate the power and the detoxifying nature of the dandelion. Of course, you know, it is excellent. The leaves are very, very healing on the body. The dandelion, ladies and gentlemen, it has in your sesquiterpene, lactones, the triterpenes, the polysaccharides. The leaf only has coumarins, carotenoids, minerals, especially potassium, and the root has in what we call thyroxides. And it's very, very good. It has phenolic acid, minerals, potassium, calcium found, and it is very, very healing as a diuretic, helps to reduce high blood pressure by reducing the volume of fluid in your body. The dandelion, ladies and gentlemen, is very significant because research is showing that it has anti-cancer activities. And especially when it comes on to tumor necrosis factor, it's significantly increased the tumor necrosis factor and what we call apoptosis, which is programmed cell death. Really, what chemotherapy is to do is to really destroy all those bad cells, cells that did not die naturally, and they stay there in your body, and you hear that you have cancer. And so chemotherapy goes in, and supposedly the mechanism is of such that it should really get to those bad cells and should really destroy them, those cancer cells. But what we have discovered and come to learn, and there is strong evidence for that out there, that in the process of destroying those bad cells, chemotherapy also destroys the good cells. And that is why you'll see individuals, they will lose their hear, they will lose their sense of smell. All these things will happen. They will, become worse eventually because, of course, ladies and gentlemen, chemotherapy is poison. And you can't use poison to get rid of poison because cancer, ladies and gentlemen, is a serious destruction and a destructive. These are cells that have really just hide off in your body, and that's why it's so hard to really address it. And so it's best for you to get to the cellular level and deal with it utilizing things that will be less harmful to your body and bring about similar results. One of the things that research has shown to help with this cancer situation, especially tumors, is that of your dandelion. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the root has anti-cancer activities. And so we want to encourage you to use it as a detoxifying. We want to encourage you to use it as a diuretic. And we want to also encourage you to use it as for skin problems such as eczema and arthritic condition, where it really helps with getting rid of inflammation. So we want you to note that it is of great benefit. The dandelion, the marigold petals, and the borage flowers, they're very helpful, very healing towards the body, especially as a tonic salad, very good for cleansing the system. I can't help, ladies and gentlemen, but tell you how powerful this thing is. I sent to Jamaica to my mother-in-law to get me some dandelion. I'm telling you, it's very good. It's very helpful. I grew up seeing a lot of this in the yard and watching my mother making teas and giving it to us with dandelion. So it's a really powerful herb. And we want you to understand that it has little or no major side effects to it, ladies and gentlemen. And you can use it, of course, judiciously. One of the laws of health really is temperance. And so you can make a salad, you can have the tablet as a diuretic. If you're hypertensive, you take it for that fluid retention. Many of you have the swollen legs and swollen feet and stuff. It is very, very helpful in that regard. The tincture of the root is good for eczema. Half teaspoon diluted with half cup of water 3 times a day, ladies and gentlemen, applied. You can also have the decoction of the root for acne. You can also, which is basically you do a 1/3 cup 3 times a day. You have the infusion of the leaves for swollen ankles. You can take 2 cups daily, and so on and so forth, ladies and gentlemen. You also have the juice that's made from the leaves for fluid retention. You can take 1 tablespoon 3 times a day. If you have it in your yard, if you're growing it, if you're not growing it, I think you should. If you're in an area where you can, very, very useful herb. Put it in a pot if you are in a place where you can't just grow it regularly, but it is a tremendous blessing. It is a tremendous blessing, ladies and gentlemen. I wanted to talk with you. I could talk to you about the arjun, but a lot of it's not a very popular tree this side of the world. And so I'm going to skip that one, but I want to talk to you about thyme. Yes, thyme, but it's not T-I-M-E, but T-H-Y-M-E, garden thyme. Now, let me give you a quick story. I remembered when I just came into the message, into the Advent message, and I was very excited, studied the Bible, felt very impressed. I was a young leader and an evangelist and would preach in a lot of evangelistic series as a young preacher, young, leaving high school. I worked for some time in Jamaica in the court system. And so all that time I would be preaching around, and every time week of prayer, evangelistic series. Ladies and gentlemen, I did not understand then how to use my voice. I did not understand then how to use my voice and how to preserve the voice and how to nurture and to grow and to groom your voice. All of this stuff I learned as a Seventh-day Adventist. Ellen White speaks a lot about voice training and all of this stuff. And I come to learn in school how to use your voice effectively and efficiently. The rise and fall of the voice, the cadence, all that, the timbre, all of that in the voice. And it's such a rich and powerful thing. And people would say to me, young man, you have a good voice. You need to take care of it. And I just never understand. I was just preaching around, preaching. And I remembered losing my voice. It was the first time I lost my voice. I couldn't speak. I was in a 6 weeks. those days it was 6 weeks of preaching every night, except we would not be there on Friday nights. And I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, it was a horrible experience. People was filled, tent and everything. And I lost my voice. My friends, it was a horrible experience for me. But then there was an elder of the church who called me, and we had to cancel the meeting that night because I could not. I was very, 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 very hoarse, could not talk, raspy, all of that stuff. And she said, Desmond, and she said, why? I have something for you. And she told me of two things. This was real. If I could look back, this had a real impact on me in terms of natural remedies. Two things. She recommended cherry bark, the bark of the cherry. You know, we had the acerola cherry tree in the yard that grew, and a lot of cherries, man. Those were the real good cherries, and they would get really juicy and red, and worms would eat them because there was so much of them, ladies and gentlemen, and we would make juice with it. She says, when you go home, go to that cherry tree. You guys have a huge one. We have a huge one in the yard. And I want you to, of course, pick some of the cherries and blend it out and make a juice. But I want you to go to the limb or the trunk of the cherry tree. And I want you to use a knife, and I want you to peel off the bark of the cherry. And I want you to allow it to dry in the sun. This was natural remedy she was telling me. And I want you to allow it to dry in the sun. And I want you to get some thyme, which is why I'm telling you this story. Get some thyme along with this cherry bark. And I want you to boil it. And ladies and gentlemen, when I boil up the cherry bark and the thyme, it was red like blood in the container. It was just this rich, you know, cherry juice, rich red, the bark. And I said, oh my goodness. And she says, don't sweeten it, just drink it as is. And I want you to do it, take some with you to work, do it early in the morning, noon, 2:30, 4:30, 5:30. And ladies and gentlemen, those times the meeting starts at 7 o'clock sharp, with singing, rousing singing underneath the tent, ladies and gentlemen. And let me tell you, that thing cleared up my voice. I was shocked. I was going to the meetings and I could talk. I was clear. I was able to do, my warm up and all of that stuff. And ladies and gentlemen, and then she taught me the power of diaphragmatic breathing. Ladies and gentlemen, most of you who have known, I've been in evangelistic series that I've done and stuff, I'm a very excited, peripatetic kind of speaker. I don't, very, very excited. And, ever since that time, ladies and gentlemen, ever since that time, God has helped me to preserve my voice and to learn how to utilize it. And I want you to know that God used that thyme and that cherry bark, the acerola cherry bark, and it was a tremendous blessing, cleaned up the voice, ladies and gentlemen. And the thyme, the power of the thyme, very, very healing on so many areas of the body. And let me just tell you a little bit about it this morning, ladies and gentlemen. It was really praised by herbalist Nicholas Culpeper in the 1600s as a notable strengthener of the lungs, as notable as one as grows. Neither is there a better remedy, says Culpeper, growing for that disease in children, which commonly called chin cold or whooping cough back then. The thyme is an excellent antiseptic and tonic. And today the thyme is still used as a respiratory remedy. As a matter of fact, in COVID-19, ladies and gentlemen, anytime I feel like something is happening or stuff, a cup of thyme tea. It will do. Anytime the voice is tired and or maybe get raspy or whatever, a cup of thyme tea. I want you to know it's an amazing, amazing herb. It's an aromatic shrub, and it grows to 16 inches, sometimes 40 centimeters, with a kind of woody stem, small leaves, if you're able to see my screen, and pink flowers. Everybody knows thyme. I hope you do. It attracts bees in profusion, and it gives a very distinctive flavor to the honey, ladies and gentlemen. So bees really they really visit the thyme plant, and it's cultivated in a variety of ways. You have the wild thyme, that's found in Southern Europe, and it's grown now worldwide. It's raised from the seed or by the root division, ladies and gentlemen. The thyme is very, very healing. It's the aerial parts of the thyme, of course, like the leaves and the stems. They are harvested in the summer, and there are many what we call thymous species with a different volatile oil content. You have the wild thyme that's often used same way as the thyme. It has thymol and it has carvacrol and thymol, ladies and gentlemen, which are very, very healing oils. It has flavonoids. It has phenolic acid. Thyme is an antiseptic. It's a tonic. It relieves muscle spasm. It is an expectorant, meaning that whenever there is mucus building up in the bronchi or in the trachea or in your throat coming up, ladies and gentlemen, back of your throat, and you have mucus build up, this is a great way of getting rid of. Expectorate. So it forces because of the substance in it, it forces you to cough. You cough and you get rid of that mucus buildup. It's very good to expel worms, vermins. So those who are struggling with worms, especially in children, it can be used very well as an expectorant and to expel worms. It's an antioxidant, ladies and gentlemen, helping to destroy those free radicals. The thyme's volatile oil is strongly antiseptic. I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you see, thyme oil will burn. It can be, the thymol in particular is very effective on wingworms, those kind of stuff. It's fungus. If you're having athlete's foot, it's very good. The oil is also excellent. It expels worm from your system. In the 1990s, there was a research done in Scotland that suggests that thyme and the volatile oil have a markedly tonic effect, supporting the body's normal function and countering the effects of aging. More recent research indicate that the thyme is strongly antioxidant and help to maintain high levels of essential fatty acids within the brain. As a matter of fact, there was a fascinating paper, it's not really a big research, that I was looking at that talked about the impact of thyme on Alzheimer's and dementia. Alzheimer's, dementia, and Parkinson's. There were three things. I was remembering the third. Alzheimer's, dementia, and Parkinson. And they were talking about how it really helps with the fatty acids chain within the brain. Very, very interesting. They're about to take it into the research phase now, so I'll keep watching that on the power of the thyme and to see the impact that this might have on Alzheimer's disease, dementia, and all of these things. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we grew up, those of us who are on this lecture this morning in the Caribbean. Quite of us are from the Caribbean or Latin America, and you grew up utilizing the thyme, and you can smell it a mile away when you put it in the pot. Now, the other day, my wife and I, we were having a conversation that these thyme, they don't even have smell. You have to rub it real. It doesn't really smell like the real good thyme. And so, ladies and gentlemen, if you can plant your own, it's one of those things that you can easily grow in a pot. And you just need to have the right soil and the right condition, and it will grow. And so I'd encourage you, things like basil, sweet basil, thyme, oregano, those things you can plant, ladies and gentlemen, easily in your pots. And escallion, you can plant your own ginger, you can plant your own turmeric. You know, one of our partners here, she sent us turmeric. Oh man, we were so blessed by that. Really rich organic turmeric that she planted in the backyard. And I'm telling you, it was just so good, and we were able to utilize that. So ladies and gentlemen, you can plant your own thyme. It's something you can do, put it in a pot. You know, we were encouraging my sister for a while to plant, and then she started to plant, and you hear her come on this conference. She has a beautiful green thumb, and it was amazing to see how everything just grew and flourished. Her cucumbers, everything was just so lovely. Little did she know that all these years she was having the little back porch there, not using it. Now she used it, and she got her son excited about it. So it's a great thing, things that you can plant. And now, as you're sheltering in place, you may be at home, you may be retired, plant something. Even if it didn't grow the first time, try again. Try your hand with something. Get some dirt, get some pots, put it on the windowsill or the window ledge for that matter, and plant something, ladies and gentlemen. My mother would say you can't go hungry if you plant. I remember growing up, she would have gungo peas and beans, and she was always planting okras, and these things kept us healthy. Little did we know, it's now we're recognizing, wow, we were well fed. We were poor. We didn't have much. After my dad died, we didn't have much, you know, ladies and gentlemen. But mama would plant pumpkin and corn and banana, and always planting something. And her hand, she had this green thumb, everything she planted. Ooh, those beans would just go over the line, the fencing for like miles. And when you look, beans, and she would cook those beans, and amazing. Plant something, ladies and gentlemen. Am I preaching to you this morning? Please, if there's one thing you can do, either moving into the end of this year, into next year, God spares our lives, plant something. If you don't plant, you can't reap, and chances are it might be a way of saving you. If you have a backyard and you can plant a peach plant, for those in North America, if you're in the Caribbean, you can plant banana. You can plant so many things. Put your little cabbage patch and your broccoli, and your bok choy and all. Plant something, ladies and gentlemen, even if it is in a pot, and you put it on your patio and put it out in the sun. Please plant something, because you can plant your own thyme, and it can be very healing for you. As a matter of fact, did you know that the extract of the thyme have shown strong antibacterial activity against H. pylori, a bacterium often associated with stomach ulcers? I remember, ladies and gentlemen, when I was in Canada doing missionary work, there were some missionaries who came across from Africa, and they were on my team. And one of the young men came down with this H. pylori situation, ladies, and it was a horrible time. And you know what I used, ladies and gentlemen? We were there for what? Something like 8 or 12 weeks. I gave him thyme tea when we were out on the field, when we were coming, he said, Pastor, you give me too much time. I said, no, how are you feeling? He says, good. I don't know. My stomach feels good, better every day. Ladies and gentlemen, he went back to the doctor in Canada. They asked him what happened. The situation went over 12 weeks. That I fed him with thyme tea. And it became such a thing in the camp, because there were Camper University students from all over the world, and myself and several others, we led them into missionary work, colporting, preaching in churches, evangelistic series, health, community engagement, that kind of stuff. It was called Canada Youth Challenge. God, what a blessed experience that was. Some powerful memories. And ladies and gentlemen, I fed him thyme tea, and the healing took place. The stomach was healed, and he went back to Africa. healed. And so many times after, he would send me a message through Facebook and he says, thank God for you and that thyme. I still drink it today. So ladies and gentlemen, thyme, excellent for H. pylori. If you're dealing with, that situation that creates those stomach ulcers, that is a bacterium, the H. pylori bacterium. It's really dangerous, and a lot of individuals come down with stomach ulcers as a result. Ladies, if you're having menstrual pain, there are many compounds within the thyme that release muscle cramps. As a matter of fact, there was a 2014 study, an Iranian clinical trial, as a matter of fact. It compared the ability of thyme and ibuprofen. You know ibuprofen? All of us, take an ibuprofen, the pain. Yeah, ibuprofen to relieve period pains. Ladies and gentlemen, the findings of this study showed both treatments to be effective. But what was fascinating in that study, I went to look it up, ladies and gentlemen, and what was amazing about that study was the effects, the side effects of the ibuprofen on your liver, concentration and accumulation, and the damage to your liver, ladies and gentlemen, was greater. There was no damage found of the thyme upon your liver. Ladies and gentlemen, so thyme trumps ibuprofen for period pain and general pain also. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to understand, for infections, if you get a cut or if you get a serious wound or bruises, it's very useful for your immune system. The antiseptic tonic properties of thyme make it really useful tonic for the immune system in chronic, especially fungal infections, as well as an effective remedy for throat and chest infections. Told you about my personal story with utilizing the thyme when I lost my voice. If you have asthma, I know a lot of you out there, you're struggling with asthma. And if you have hay fever, the thyme is prescribed with other herbs for asthma, especially in children. You can use it well because it's so easy. The invigorated qualities really balance the sedative effects of many herbs used for asthma. Thyme is also very, very helpful for hay fever. Ladies and gentlemen, worms, if you have worms, the thyme is used to treat worms in children. Give them a cup of thyme and you see them digging out the nose and it's, digging other areas and stuff, ladies and gentlemen. You boil up some thyme tea and give to them. As a matter of fact, I need to give my little son some too. Ladies and gentlemen, these simple things that we can do to help. For external uses, it's applied to the skin. Thyme relieves bites and stings, and it's useful for sciatica. Sciatica nerve pain and this rheumatic pain. It helps ringworm and athlete's foot and thrush and other fungal infections, ladies and gentlemen, as well as scabies and lice. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, wash the hair with thyme. And also you use the thyme oil to massage the scalp of your hair. Very, very good. The infusion and the diluted oil also massage into the scalp, ladies and gentlemen, to encourage hair growth and to reverse hair loss. I don't know, but I've shared this with several individuals. The thyme oil, they're losing their hair, alopecia, balding in different spots. Ladies and gentlemen, the thyme oil, you can get it and you can just massage it. You can do that twice for the day, once or twice for the day, depending on what's going on. If you have allergic rhinitis, thyme, super helpful. If you have back pain, the thyme. If you get bites and stings, the thyme. Colds and flus, coughs and bronchitis, earache. As a matter of fact, I'm going to tell you about a combination. Oh, Father, please bring this back to my mind. If I don't tell you in this lecture, I will tell you about a protocol that is an excellent way of dealing with bronchial situations, ladies and gentlemen. And thyme is one of them, but there are a couple other herbs. I'm going to find it and get it to you. We're talking about fungal infection, maintaining your vitality, your strength, your capacity, your thyme, mild asthma. If you're having asthma, Thyme, it's great for aching muscles that are tired. Ladies and gentlemen, you can even put, if you have tired feet, you can boil up the thyme, ladies and gentlemen, and soak your feet in it. Thyme is just amazing what it can do. Thyme, Thyme. Thyme. Let's move on, ladies. Oh, I don't know if I'll have time to tell you about this. Damiana. Most of you know Damiana. Damiana is an herb that is an aromatic shrub growing up to 6.5 feet with smooth, pale green leaves and small single yellow flowers. You know, in the Caribbean, you see, I'm telling you, if most of you out there, you're nodding, you're shaking your head. Yes, I know that herb, I know that plant. The Damiana, ladies and gentlemen, Damiana, very good, very popular in the Caribbean. It's there in Jamaica, it's there over Central and South America. It's a traditional, it's an aphrodisiac. It's an aphrodisiac of the Mayan people in Central America, but that's not the only use. It has been popularized for that use for men and women and, you know, that kind of stuff. And it continues to be considered valuable as an aphrodisiac and general tonic. That's the focus of it. I know of the great benefits of it. It's a stimulant. It has tonic action. It makes a valuable remedy for those suffering from mild depression. Ladies and gentlemen, I tell you a quick story. We were in, I think we were in Florida, and we were doing a series of presentation out there in Fort Lauderdale, and met this lady who was just depressed. She was depressed, her husband was depressed, and their daughter was depressed. And they just could not kick it. And we encouraged them, go out in the sun. And, you know, they were not even going in the sun, and they were in a warm place. And their vitamin D levels low. Like, how can you be in Florida with your vitamin D levels so low? We encouraged them to get vitamin D, and we encouraged them. As I talked with them, I realized that depression was at the source of the problem. And so we started them on 2 cups of Damiana herb, you know, 2 cups per day, morning and before bedtime, morning and before. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, we were there for several weeks. And I want you to know that that lady, if she could worship us, it was amazing what happened. She said she could, she said, this was her description. She said, it appeared as if day dawned in my head. She started, because all she was seeing was dark clouds and gloom, and she said the day dawned. Those were her expression, the day dawned in my head, meaning that the light, the light came through, the sunlight came through. She said she started to do the herbs, and she did the vitamin D, and she did the Damiana, ladies and gentlemen, and I tell you, God came through. That lady was praising the Lord, singing our praises. She was so happy. It just revolutionized her experience. Ladies and gentlemen, the Damiana has a strongly aromatic, slightly bitter taste. The leaves was used back in the day to flavor liqueurs, and were taken in Mexico as a substitute for tea. The Damiana is native to the Gulf of Mexico, Southern California, Northern Caribbean islands, and Namibia. It is cultivated in this area. Damiana is grown from the seed in spring, and it prefers hot, humid climate. The leaves are harvested where the herb is when the herb is in the flower of summer. We want you to know, ladies and gentlemen, that the Damiana herb, as we continue to talk about it, the Damiana herb, ladies and gentlemen, it has several related species, which the T. opifera and the T. olimfolia, they are used as tonics in Brazil, Central America. But what is amazing, ladies and gentlemen, about the Damiana is the key constituents in the Damiana. You have the volatile oil, 0.5 to 1%. It has in carpophenolate, which is a potent oil like thymol and candenine, which is very, very healing on our nervous system. I will say neuro. It's very good against neurotoxic situation, but it's excellent for the central nervous system. That's what I wanted to remember. And it has in also your thymol, which is very good, as you learned. That's found in thyme, the same kind of oil. It has in candenine, which is very, very good, in terms of helping with sexually restorative. It has in your flavonoids, the hydroquinone in the form of arbutin. It has in tannins, very healing on the system, ladies and gentlemen. It's a nerve tonic. It's a tonic generally. It's an aphrodisiac. It's a mild stimulant. The Damiana, ladies and gentlemen, is rarely used as a tonic, very restorative for the nervous system. You're trembling, those men who do hard work and you're trembling, or women who you might be standing for long periods and you feel nervy. A cup of Damiana tea twice a day will be very, very good. It has been popularly recognized as an aphrodisiac, and it's marketed. You will go up there, you will find the tablets being sold as a sexual enhancer. Because of it has in the thymol, ladies and gentlemen, its tonic action on the system, which the thymol is also an antiseptic and it's also a tonic. But the antidepressant nature of it, ladies and gentlemen, is what we call the thymoleptic. Its Damiana is what we call a thymoleptic. It has a stimulating action on the body and the mind. It is given to people suffering from mild to moderate depression or nervous exhaustion. So it's stimulating and restorative properties make it valuable when anxiety and depression happen together. So it's excellent for individuals who are struggling with these conditions. Due to the reputed testosterogenic activity, Damiana has always been seen as a herb for men, helpful in treating premature ejaculation, impotence, and that kind of stuff. It's very beneficial for both men and women. You're not left out. And it's considered restorative for the reproductive organs of both sexes. Now, individuals struggling with gynecological problems, the Damiana is given for painful or delayed periods. It is used especially for headaches connected with your menstruation. It's very good as an antiseptic for the urinary tract system. It's a diuretic. It's a urinary antiseptic. It's useful for the treatment of urinary infections such as cystitis, urethritis. It's partly due to the constituent arbutin that's found in it, which is converted into hydroquinone, which is a strong urinary antiseptic in the urinary tubules. Now, it's also found in a number of other plants. That is your hydroquinone, such as your uva ursi, which we're going to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. Damiana is also a mild laxative, and it is really useful in the treatment of constipation due to poor bowel and muscle tone, anxiety, depression, and tension. Cheers to the Damiana. Now, let me tell you a little bit about preparation, ladies and gentlemen. As I wrap this up, we are at the hour. The leaves are harvested in summer. They make a pleasant tasting tea, and they're used for a wide range of medicinal properties and preparation rather. So you have the fresh leaves and the dry leaves, the key to the key preparations and their usage. You can get the tablets. You can get the tablets, men, women, you can get the tablets. It contains other herbs and they are taken as a relaxing tonic. So they sometimes add lavender and they add other stuff to it. As a tincture, ladies and gentlemen, it's a nerve tonic. It's an antidepressant for mild depression. You can do 30 drops of the tincture with water 4 times a day. You can purchase this. Make sure you get the non-alcoholic tincture form in your health food store. You can make an infusion and is a tonic and is really useful for your urinary tract infection. You can drink 3/4 cups, 150 milliliters daily as a general tonic. So cheers, here goes your Damiana and your thyme this morning. I want to say health for you, health for me, health for all mankind. May I pray with you, my friend. Oh, gracious Lord, we thank you for this message of health, healing, and restoration. It's a message of hope. It's a message in the midst of chaos. It's a message in the age of pharmakia, ladies and gentlemen, when pharmaceutical medicines are destroying and mankind is utilizing pharmaceutical medicines in a terrible way, not utilizing it how you would have intended it to be utilized. But Lord, we thank you for this message of hope. We thank you for the herbs, for the healing of the nation. We thank you for the blessings that you have given. We pray that the health of your people will spring forth speedily as they utilize natural remedies. Bless them now with healing and hope and health is my prayer. In Jesus' name, amen. May God bless you richly as you use natural remedies.